wars. Make peace, not war. Fight war, not wars. Make peace, not war. Fight war, not war. Make peace, not war. Fight war, not war. Make peace, not war. Fight war, not wars. 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 Make peace, not wars. Because I have the reach to the resources that can stop that gun from firing. And I have the reach to the resources that can keep my conscience from dying. And I have access to a solution I call compassion combined with really trying. Access to a solution, compassion combined with really trying, because I have
His cry was that he was useless and that no one wanted him. With an expression of hopelessness, he betrayed his false philosophy. Fears have no reality. Fears have no reality. No reality. We are born, grow up, become old, good for nothing, and that's the end. This mental attitude of futility and hopelessness was the reason for his sickness. Most of your fears have no reality. He was looking forward only to citizens. And after that, fear is man's greatest enemy. Fear is behind failure, sickness, and poor human relations. Millions of people are afraid of the past, the future, old age, insanity, and death. Fear is a thought in your mind, and you are afraid of your own thoughts. Fear is a thought in your mind, and you are afraid of your own thoughts. Fear is a thought in your mind, and you are afraid of your own thoughts. Most of your fears have no reality. Most of your fears have no reality. Most of your fears have no reality. Fears have no reality. Fears have no reality. No reality. No reality. No reality. No reality.
Well, the thing about it is I'm not really going to be playing live. And this is kind of weird for the electronic scene, where it's kind of like plug in the computer and spacebar and shit, you know? But I'm just saying I'm coming at it from punk rock. So like it's not really live for me unless like I'm pouring out a lot of like bodily fluids during the process, right? I just gotta like get the disclaimer out that Realicide, like most of the people in my crew are not DJs. Like we make music and whatnot, and we're really down with the electronic music, but we're kind of coming at it from more of a band. It's not a diss on like rave, it's not a diss on DJ culture or whatever, it's just that's not what we do. We sweat it out and we get very loud. It's a physical strain. So if anybody wants to know more about my perspective on what it means to perform live, you can check out the zine that comes with the Resisting the Viral Self Realicide album from 2009, and there's a really long essay that kind of details how I define live performance. There's other essays by other people like Split Horizon on the Realicide label that kind of talk about what it is to be involved with electronic music but still want to legitimately do like a live performance that requires some type of physical commitment rather. So I don't know, not to go on about it, but this is not really a live Realicide set, but it's not a DJ set either. It's kind of in between, so you can take it or leave it. But really I'm just trying to like put the word out that I'm on this hemisphere for the time being, and I'm going to try to do a bunch of gigs in Sydney and Melbourne, Brisbane, and like a lot of other places. Just check it out on realicide.com if you want to see the tour dates.
Yeah, and for people in Sydney, I think is it the 6th of March?
Yeah, March 6th at Dirty Shallows. Yeah,
that'll be a great gig. So get down to that if you want to see the real live Realicide action.
Yeah, and also I think the toe cutter might have been, he's trying to burn me a screen, and one thing that we do in the States is we try to bring the screen on tours so that after shows people can like take off their clothes and get them screen printed for free. So if you want a Realicide shirt, just meet up with me while I'm in whatever city you're in, and I'll like print the Realicide shirt on it, and then you can have it back for free. So yeah,
good.
You know, cool.
Good deal.
Bring you to hungry and expect you to open when I'm knowing the right side. Now everybody's fucking rich. And so I'm fucking up against it. And so I'm fucking up against it. I'm taking a choke. That's nothing great.
He began to suffocate.
There's no drums out of the house, come on! Here it goes! What's this one? What's it really good for?
hostage.
Oh, thanks for letting me come back.
It knocks down all the walls between culture and business. When you live in an information age, culture becomes big business, education becomes big business, and the cultural explosion or the information explosion becomes itself culture.
Dependent for their identity on business. The corporations had realized that it was in their interest to work a world in which people felt they were rebelling against conformity. It was not a threat to business.
Song, but only if I can get some sound out of the monitors. I mean, fucking like, it's like if I can get the drums coming out. This one works. Yo, this one no. This one works. All right. We're gonna test it. There's some feedback right there. Woo. Alright, thanks. I'll try to do at least one more song without fucking it up too bad. Maybe I'll do better on Friday. I promise I'll do better on Friday, huh?
How about you do better right now? You better, or you're not getting your fucking check.
Yeah, there is no Friday.
Do it, man.
I know it's confusing. I want somebody to show up and like fuck up the night like this. All I'm saying is, you can be here for whatever reasons you want. It's whatever you do when you come here. Make it somewhere where it's hard to do things differently. Make it somewhere where it's like hard to do things like unexpected. Not in the same cliched shit. Not in the same cliched ways.
Destroy anything you didn't understand. As you destroy anything you didn't understand.
Without first thinking what will come back to directly benefit me. It's you, guys, you, no one else. Why suppress, why impress, and thought still when the time is over. What if I trust? Wait, suppress, thought still when the time is over. One time, this time, what can I open some of exactly? My lips are not as one thing. Everyone flood to me. I know I was wild right.
System, what happens to listening within a consumerist system, how it's reduced, how you are incapable of appreciating anymore. You just look for what's familiar. Almost an animal pleasure. The system requires of you to shut off that judgment about what is actual quality. They want to decide for you what it is so that you'll buy it. Those decisions are not based on intrinsic information within the music. They're based on what kind of clothes the person is wearing, what do they look like, and do they have celebrity. You no longer listen to the music to decide any good. It must be good. It's sold so many copies.
Just for today, right? Just for today, now!
They have become... Not a threat. They have become increasingly dependent on their identity and business. The corporations have realized that it was in their interests to work a world in which people felt they were rebelling against conformity. They have become increasingly dependent. Not a threat. They have become increasingly dependent for their identity on business.
Neurotic fear revealed his physical weakness, his sense of frustration, and a general deterioration almost approaching lifelessness. Fear is a thought in your mind, and you are afraid of your own
information. I always wanted to experience more. Our positive values of life. What
What did you know? What did you care? Endless philosophizing. What did you know? What did you care? Surface agreements, statements of fact, trying to prove we can do it. But sometimes when I'm alone like this, I wonder just who can see through it. Bargains and sacrifices. What did you know? What did you care? Cheap tricks and cheaper devices. What did you know? What did you care? Holding the vision, but losing our sight. Endlessly searching solution. But sometimes when I'm alone like this, I wonder how much it's just institution. What did you know? What did you care? 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 Anarchy's become another word for you got $2 to spare. What did you know? What did you care? Another way of saying I'm okay, so you're out there. What did you know? What did you care? Another token tantrum to cover up the fear. What did you know? What did you care? Another institution, another cross to bear. What did you know? What did you care? What did you know? What did you care? What did you know? What did you care? What did you know? What did you care?
Well, hey, I'm here with Robert and Doug from Realicide. And hey, how you guys doing?
I feel pretty good, man.
So you guys are in town to play 2 shows, actually. One is at Casa on Friday, and you're playing at Le Brick also?
Yeah, we'll put Le Brick tomorrow on Thursday, and then Casa on Friday. And then we will be tabling for Realicide Youth Records both days of the Anarchist Book Fair on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, great. Do you want to talk just a little bit about the actual, your project in Realicide?
The songs are all coming from Realicide records from the past year, like the Resisting the Viral Self LP from last year. And yeah, it's kind of sort of like a collage, you know. But it'll all be pretty fast, pretty hyped up.
I don't know. Do you want to just throw to a few of those tracks, so we get a little taste?
We could. I mean, the first one's a little bit much. But yeah, you could go for it if you want, man.
All right, well, let's warm it up.
All right, we're gonna hear some Realicide here on CKUT.
Yo, man, there's a lot of brothers out there flaking perpetrators, scared to kick me out.
All right, we're back here on CKUT 90.3 FM. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about that track.
About that?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I kind of made that one when I decided to move back to Cincinnati, which is where the core members of the group started many years ago for Realicide, the band and the label both. I made that one
because I was like real excited about moving back to my hometown after kind of like dipping out of it for a couple years, because it was real bleak. For a couple years I just kind of like remained on like a more nomadic tip, where I was on tour almost all the time with Swill, Mavis, and others, you know. Just wasn't really anywhere that I wanted to stay. I mean, I was living on and off in LA, and that's when I started working with Birth more. Anyway, we played a Cincinnati gig on our real long tour last year, and it was extremely good. It was just, you know, hundreds of kids came out, and we screen printed all these shirts, and there was food, and it was just like a real positive vibe, and I never thought I would see that in my hometown, because I don't know, I mean, if anybody's familiar, or if anybody reads through like the kind of stuff, a lot of the Realicide stuff's been about years past, it's pretty like combative, it's pretty like critical of punk and noise and anything else, you know, because it's a real hostile environment. I mean, I come from a city that's prone to like race riots, for example. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, things have really turned around this past year, and so I decided I wanted to witness that, and I wanted to be around to like take in that like really unexpected surge of positive energy with new kids coming up, like taking charge of like the scene, or whatever you want to call it. And so I moved back years ago in like 2005, when things were actually on like another upswing. We did like a Cincinnati Speedcore 2005 track, so I thought it was time for like a sequel, so I did like Cincinnati Speedcore 09. Basically, like that track is just a lot of beats and words and stuff, other songs like sped up to make them sound faster, you know? So it's more of like a collage, whereas a lot of our other tracks, you know, on the LPs and stuff are overtly structured, or easier to figure out like what's exactly going on. That one's kind of just like for fun, like put everything together as fast as possible, just have it be something that sort of confuses people when they put it on, you know?
You talk about in Cincinnati, like there being like it getting bad, or being good and then getting bad and then getting good again.
Yeah, fluctuation, big time. Like a lot of cities in the Midwest.
Yeah. Do you know like where that comes from?
It comes from maybe a sense of insecurity, perhaps, like cultural insecurity, and maybe just having like a history of being a little bit behind. Like I think like Mark Twain or somebody said something about Cincinnati is always like 10-20 years behind like the rest of the world or something. Like it kind of has like ignorant vibe to it, but when people find out about stuff and like finally like catch on, they're really stoked about it. So I don't know, it's kind of a strange environment, but I guess when things are good, they feel real good. And not just because it's like where I come from, but just like in relation to gigs and other like kind of like subcultural goings on in the middle US. When it's good, it's actually really good. I think they get good out of just sheer desperation, man. Like people just can't handle loafing around, and really all it takes is like maybe a couple kids and their friends form like a temporary like team to sort of stir up morale and really get things charged up. Usually it takes like some type of like new element either introduced or accepted within like the arts community there. For example, I mean, we've been around for a grip, but we really got a lot of hate and animosity, you know, in the earlier years. But eventually people finally rolled around like, whoa, this is actually, it does have a lot to do with punk rock, and this is really like, this can be a real fun, exciting sort of show. At this point, there's been a pretty good level of acceptance, and, you know, it just took a few years to catch on, but now people are really down, you know. New activity run by like new kids who weren't like jaded beyond belief yet, you know. They're all like just out of high school, late teens, early 20s. They're not beaten down yet, they're still real wide-eyed. It can be naive, true, but you know, it's very exciting, and like they bring out the kids. I mean, like 150 kids came to the show with just like a few days notice, because we weren't gonna play there. Swill was like, you know, there's a new spot, we should really give it a shot. Like, I think it's gonna be better than you think, I think it's gonna be worthwhile. And it was awesome. We screen printed shirts for all these kids after the show. Oh yeah, by the way, at our shows at La Brick, and let it be known, like we do got a couple of screens in this past year. Something we've been doing on the Realicide tours a lot is, whenever possible, is screen printing shirts like at the shows or at people's houses. So if you want a shirt and you don't want to pay nothing, just come take your clothes off and we'll print on anything that doesn't move, right? I even got to do that in like I was telling you about the Australia thing. Yeah. I went down there and they made me a screen, dude. I got the screen print on the other side of the earth and skip winter, man. Nice. This year's been all right, dude. It's been like, I can't complain, you know? So I don't know if I answered any of these questions, but like, totally. it's the more constructive ends of anarchism, basically. I mean, I think I'd be a lot more inclined to affiliate myself just with like pleasant and constructive like modes of anarchism. I'm really trying to get on that Bill and Ted tip, man. I'm trying to get on that be excellent to each other tip. So let it be known, you know, that's pretty much like the real important, you know, just be excellent to each other. You could learn something from Bill and Ted, even when you are interested in like serious modes of anarchism. Bill and Ted do know how to have a good time and get people like stoked, you know. Bill and Ted's probably like somehow more popular than Crass, you know. And that's all good. That's all good because like they've got a good message, and I'm just saying the ultimate balance is where you have an alluring aesthetic, something that's exciting and gets kids wanting to like jump around and get their blood pumping, but also has content and is not just like a total addiction to like garbage jokes, you know, or just something to numb us down, which is very popular, like this surge of just complete overindulgence in irony. And you know, it's like the hipster situation where what I would define as a hipster is where somebody acquires like such vast knowledge on anything subcultural, knows about, just so self-educated, just knows all this obscure stuff, every genre, every type of like obscure thing within subculture, uses it solely to make snarky remarks to their peers and like feel like they've got a one-up on you know, the people that they hang out with. You know, they know the more obscure stuff, or that it's so funny and ironic. But really, what good is it? It's just like hateful and defeatist, you know. I'm just trying to have a good time, but have it convey somewhat like, you know, at least semi-useful to like a real life, and not just be like some escapist or retro sort of like aim to it, you know. If you want to come out to a warehouse, come out to Le Brick tomorrow on Thursday, and I'll screen print your shirt if you want to take your shirt off. Otherwise, if you want to go to a bar for some reason, go to Casa, because it's actually like, I don't drink alcohol, so I couldn't care less. But it's like, as far as bar venues, I played there a couple years ago and it seemed really awesome. Like, it sounded good. Obviously, our main objective being in Montreal right now, we're going to be going to the Anarchist Book Fair on Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to come and hang out there, we'll have the Realicide Youth Records distro with as many zines as we could possibly round up, along with all of our screen printed, you know, various like shirts and patches and records. So yeah, that's what's up.
Hostage. Speaking of government and connections and the influence of war. Social change versus politics.
Systematic action, but it won't get me.
Realicide Youth Records!
I heard that, son. Okay.
Realicide Youth Records! Realicide Youth Records!
That was a good one.
Yeah. All right. I'm just trying to do weird voices on this point.
Realicide Youth Records!
Are you ready to realicide?
Realicide Youth Records!
If we started a sample with like Realicide Youth Records, and then the beat kicks on.
Let's just leave it in there.
Realicide Youth Records!
All right. This is like, I feel like we're at like a martial arts class. Like we're all just here like, all right, now your turn. Like this, like,
Yeah, like, okay, who's up next?
Realicide Youth Records!
How many times do we have to do it?
oh, we just did it a few times.
It doesn't matter. This is just so we can pick.
Realicide Youth Records!
You sound crazy.
You sound like a crazy person.
Realicide Youth Records!
There you go. There you go.
Just use them because they don't sound like us. We're screaming the whole set.
They sound.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah, I got
Realicide Youth Records!
Realicide Youth Records. Like that? Is that what you meant? Starting the buck ass set off with that, like Realicide Youth Records.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, just like the Beverly Hillbilly.
Realicide Youth Records! Realicide Youth Records! Realicide Youth Records!
Excuse me. I was wondering if you happen to carry. If you happen to carry in your establishment any Realicide Youth Records.
I can't do nasty gurgling noises.
Youth Records.
Gross.
Realicide Youth Records. Realicide Youth Records. Realicide Youth Records. Realicide Youth Records.
Realicide Youth Records. Realicide Youth Records.
What? Realicide Youth Records! I want Realicide Youth Records! I love Realicide. I got Realicide. I love Robbie.
Alright, I can't even listen to that. That's disgusting.